Good day, dear friends. Hope all of you are keeping safe. Today, we are going to meet Ashish Sehgal, a very passionate NLP expert, SNLP licensed Master Life NLP coach and trainer, and is going to help us understand the basics of NLP. Ashish has spent over 15 years researching on NLP and has coached and trained over thousands of people. Good morning, Ashish, and welcome to the Wisdom Curators platform.
Good morning, Pragati, and good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Well, Ashish, a lot of us out here are often talking and discussing about mastering one's mind. When we talk of our minds, NLP is being considered as one of the most popular tools. So, Ashish, I have a series of questions with me here today, which I'm going to ask you, which can help our audience to understand the basics and the basis of NLP. But before I do that, we're keen to know how NLP happened to you and your journey so far. Over to you, Ashish.
So, thank you. Thank you so much. So, looking back, when I look at the beginning of this century, somewhere around 2001, 2002, I was trying to figure out a lot of things in my own life. I was new to business and had been into technology all my life before that. And wanted to know what are the faster ways to bring meaningful changes within oneself, how to improve the life, how to improve work conditions, how to improve relationships. And it is more or less, I would say, a journey of self realization and self development. I
Absolutely.
came across a lot of modalities, and then at some point of time, I stumbled upon NLP, and it was fascinating. It was just fascinating. So when I learned NLP initially, and because I have this habit of learning something really deep, I studied it multiple times within 1 year, and then applied some basic principles to my business at that point of time. I've been into technology business at that point of time, and I saw that whatever goals I made for about 3 years, I could achieve them within 6 months.
Wow.
This was magical for me.
Indeed.
Then I started, yeah, I started actually taking it deeper, learning more and more, uh, earning my own qualifications, becoming a coach, started working with people around 2003, 2004. By 2007, I had actually, a practice where I was working with NGOs and a lot of other people. Slowly the journey began, and then I started training also. Now we are at year 2020, and when I look back, it's been a wonderful journey of more than about 15 years now. So it's been fun. It's been fun.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Ashish, so much for sharing your journey with us.
Welcome.
So, quickly, we'll just jump on to my list of questions that I have here with me. So, Ashish, tell us what is NLP and how does it work? I think that this is a
Okay.
basic question that a lot of us have in our minds.
Yeah. So what is NLP? How does it work? How does it help? Um, to understand what is NLP, it is really very difficult to explain it. It is it is an experience. It is an attitude. It's the way we live. Uh, but that's kind of what we in NLP would call a big chunk answer. Let me kind of break it down it for you. NLP is mastery of language. And how do you use language to program your own mind? And when I say mind, I'm specifically talking about your values, beliefs, skills, behaviors, how you converse with the environment around you. You can program everything to an automation layer in your mind. Now, this kind of an expertise comes in when you have total control on your language, which is not just the language you speak with others, but also the language you use to talk to yourself. Self talk is a major area of thinking. And when you program that well, you use that well, you program your life to be successful. Now, this is how I understand the what I call the NLP of living life. From this way, we get a set of techniques and applications which we can use in various areas of life. Contrary to what is usually understood, this set of techniques is not NLP. They're only applications.
All right.
NLP is the language. NLP is the programming between your language and your mind. That's how it. And how does it work? That also you asked.
Yep.
So, so it's very simple to experience this and very difficult to define this. Uh, you can use a language to change the state of your mind. You can use the language to change your beliefs, and when your beliefs change, your related behaviors change. So NLP works through linguistics. Language is the most important part of NLP. And language, by language I mean not just the spoken language, even the thinking language, even the body language, your gestures. So what we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we taste, what we smell,
They
there are
all,
languages for all this.
yeah,
And all these languages, you can have uh, an accurate control over them.
absolutely.
So that's how NLP works.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Ashish. Moving on
Most
to our
welcome.
next question. Uh, how did NLP develop? And is there any research to prove that NLP really works?
Yeah. Okay. So, in fact, both these questions are actually how I see it rolled into one. So, NLP is still developing. It started somewhere in 1970s when these people, Richard Bandler, John Grinder, Robert Dills, Christina Hall, a lot of other people, they got together, and Richard Bandler and John Grinder were leading this research. And the research was about how do people become really successful in what they do repeatedly. What is in that? What is that in those people which makes them successful again and again and again? What do they do inside their mind and in their behaviors? So what these guys found out was that they use language in a particular way, and there were thousands and thousands of linguistic patterns. So using this information, they created a model. And model was created using a process called modeling. Modeling means in detail finding out what a person is doing and how is he performing a particular action, and then creating a fluff free model of the same. So when a model is created, then that can be applied to anybody.
Okay, all right.
So they created hundreds of models, and that was a part of the research. So it was a research based project that turned into such a huge thing in the world and changing the way people work. So I guess that explains it.
Yeah, and that's really a lot of work with over 1,000 cases, I'm sure. Uh, my next question is, how can one benefit from using or learning NLP? How can
Okay.
one benefit from using or learning NLP?
Okay. So when we say learning NLP, um, there is a structured method to learn that, which has been provided by Society of NLP. Society of NLP was the original body, which included Richard Bandler, John Grinder, Christina Hall, and a lot of other people. And they had set curriculums, and it's still developing. In order to learn NLP, one can step into a practitioner program and learn the attitude, the language, the core, the fundamental, and the methods of NLP, and then also master some of the applications. Now, the day you finish a course is the day you start learning NLP.
Okay.
It's by applying. It's
Absolutely.
how you apply those concepts which you have learned in your day to day life through your language.
Absolutely.
So language will have two parts: listening and delivering. You're listening to something, you're saying something. So when you're listening, you observe what is being said and what is the structure of that language. NLP deals about the structure of language. So once you understand the structure of what you're listening, you can have an insight about the person you're talking to and then respond accordingly to get the results you want.
Wonderfully said, Ashish. In fact, my next question to you was on language. In fact, uh, in terms of what is the significance or the role of language in NLP, and can you share some examples that our audience can relate to?
Sure, sure. Uh, NLP is built around language. Language is the main thing there, and how we use language. In NLP, we have two very strong models of language. We call them, two pillars of NLP, and there are other pillars also. The first method of using language is called the meta model. The job of meta model is to bring clarity, is to recover missing information from language. And this helps people to bring a lot of clarity within their thoughts. Richard Bandler and John Grinder had studied and modeled this from Virginia Satir and a few other experts. The second model is called the Milton model, which is opposite of the meta model. It's about creating ambiguity and vagueness. It is also called the key to conversational hypnosis. And that also works beautifully. To be a good NLP expert, you must master both. You must be able to recognize everything and utilize everything. Let me give you a few examples. I can simply say, while I'm in rapport with somebody, and I can simply put a suggestion by saying that, can you give me this glass of water? Chances are that if I'm in rapport, the person will offer me a glass of water. Whereas my question was only, can the person yes or no? This is about influence. On the other hand, let me give you another example. If I'm talking to a client and the client says, I'm disturbed, my job is to ask questions. Disturbed about what? What are the details? In NLP, we never ask the why questions. NLP is not about finding reasons or finding root cause and stuff like that. It is about getting the solutions to everything. Uh, there have been so many examples where you go through a series of conversations and then your client gets what he wants in his life, the amount of clarity he gets, he's able to remove the blockages in his own thinking process, and thereby he gets the results. So that's how it kind of works.
Wow, wonderful.
Thank you.
Definitely sounds exciting.
It is.
Indeed. Somewhere there's also a myth, or I don't know if it's a fact, Ashish. Is NLP a type of hypnosis?
Okay.
What are the
So,
techniques of NLP?
uh, in order to answer this question, we must understand what hypnosis is. Now, hypnosis, if we go by Milton Erickson, his definition of hypnosis says it's the absence of multiplicity of focus. Primarily saying that having a unifocus. So when you have unifocus, if you're watching a movie with complete focus, you are under hypnosis. If you're singing a song with your closed eyes or you're meditating, you are under hypnosis. You're watching television and you're binge watching, you are under hypnosis. So hypnosis is a naturally occurring state. That's the first point. The second point is there are zillions of traditional hypnotists who have created a lot of drama around hypnosis. And that drama has brought hypnosis a lot of bad name also. Traditional hypnotists have added a lot of spiritual angles and other angles to make it look mystic. Now, hypnosis by its own nature is not mystic.
Okay.
When you watch a movie, there's nothing mystic about it. You
True.
are you are hypnotized. Yeah, when you're binge watching a television serial, you are into a hypnotic state. There's nothing mystic about it. But traditional hypnosis experts add a lot of stories and create a lot of mystery about it. And obviously there are professional gains for this. So as a result of this, there is many people who are logical enough are not very comfortable with the way traditional hypnosis works.
Okay.
Now, when we go deeper to it and we understand how Milton Erickson worked, who was one of the best hypnotists of all times, he would use language conversationally.
Yeah, the entire emphasis is on language, actually.
Is on language and conversation. So there are two things. Let's understand. Hypnosis talks about something called trance. A person is in a trance state, and traditional hypnotists believe that there is an awake state and there's a trance state. And trance state could be a deep trance or a less trance kind of a thing, a lighter trance. But according to NLP, we are always in a trance. We are always in one trance or another trance. Right now, when we're talking and you're focused here, you're into this trance.
Interesting.
So we are always in a trance. An NLP expert utilizes the trance you are into to get you life you want.
Wonderful.
For example, if a client walks in and says that I am all the time thinking about some negative thought, so the client is into a trance of that particular negative thought. As an NLP expert, your job is to utilize it and help him. So you don't really need a chair and put him there. So
Yeah.
yes, there are some conversational hypnosis methods in this, but they are very different from how traditional mystic hypnosis looks like.
Wonderful.
So
Thanks.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes, I think thank you so much for clarifying that. Otherwise, I think there's a lot of confusion amongst a lot of audience or even some NLP practitioners who treat NLP as a form of hypnosis. So thank you for clarifying that.
Welcome.
All right. So moving on to our next question, very most wanted question. What is NLP coaching?
What is NLP coaching? So as I said in the beginning of our session today, NLP is an attitude. It's a way to be, way to live. Coaching is a profession where a coach helps the client using a particular set of language patterns, questions, techniques, and a lot of detailed methodologies to help clients get the solutions they want.
Okay.
Coaching is vast. An NLP expert can venture into coaching and be an NLP coach.
Okay.
So when an NLP expert undertakes a coaching assignment, he gets the results much faster because he's already experienced how language of the mind works. So there are so many coaching methodologies, and NLP just makes them faster. It just gets you the result.
Wonderful.
So yeah, that's
I
it.
think what's really coming out is that if people who are wanting to pursue a profession of being a coach, I think NLP is one of the key tools that one should really master, especially on the language. I think a lot of questions that you and I have been discussing for the last couple of minutes now, I think language is gaining a lot of.
Language is the key. So as you said, yes, in coaching, NLP is a very, very strong tool. It just improves your results in a big way. Also in the field of training, public speaking, teaching, any of the places where there's a lot of emphasis on communication and getting results, it's really, really important. And there's so many people who are using NLP in almost every field. I know a lot of people personally who are using NLP in schools and with children. People are using NLP with people of older age group to help them. So there are so many applications. Coaching and training is one part of
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for making us understand that, Ashish. Moving on to our next question. How does one apply NLP in their profession or business?
it. Okay. So again, it boils down to having the attitude of an NLP expert. How does it work? In the few days when you have learned NLP and when you revise what you've learned, what will come across is the beliefs that have been installed during an NLP program in your mind. And those beliefs are the first steps that help you improve your life. Like when we study NLP in the first 2 days, we focus a lot onto what we call the presuppositions of NLP, the beliefs of excellence. And there are almost like a dozen of them. And then, even if you pick up one or two of them and embed in your life from the day you leave your NLP class, your life starts changing. Let me give you an example. One of the core beliefs that NLP stands on is called map is not the territory. Primarily meaning everybody is unique and we all think and respond differently. And we're all right. Looking at that, when you have this belief and you enter your home or workplace or profession, you will respect other people's map also as much as you respect yours. You will respect your own uniqueness and other people's uniqueness, and it'll give you a lot of success. This is just one point. There would be hundreds of points that you're going to pick up during the program. So profession, business, it applies everywhere. Relationships, especially when it comes to business, there are business specific applications which we teach in the NLP practitioner program, which are about goal setting, which are about milestone management, which is about peak performance. And all these happen at the time of the practitioner program. And then you carry on with them throughout your life. So that's how it works.
Wonderful. In fact, that's very interesting. Where I remember when I started to learn NLP, I did that primarily only for my own personal, uh,
Mm,
learning and development, and it really did help me break a lot of
mm,
my own limiting beliefs, my own thought processes. So yes,
mm,
it definitely has some, to a major extent, a lot of application both in our personal and professional lives.
yeah,
And like you said, understanding the other person's perspectives. I think that
mm.
really comes with trainings like these. Thank you so much for clarifying that, Ashish. Uh, uh, my next question for the audience is, why attend an NLP course when one can read it from the book?
Good question. Good question. Uh, and I can explain this in many, many ways. So at some point of time, you went to school, and then many of us went to college also. You could have studied all of this from a book, isn't it? Now, let's look at it this way. Reading a book is in addition to what you learn. As adults, we learn through experience, which is what we call experiential learning. So NLP training is successful only and only if it is experiential. Theoretical NLP training is a waste. So in NLP training, it's important if you are having a lot of experiences there. If a trainer is able to build experiences with you in your mind and around you, which impact you for life, that's the kind of NLP training you'd like to step into. When it comes to books, books are really, really important. And books help us widen our horizon a lot. But as NLP has a lot to do with your body also, a book may not help you experience that. For example, if I have to help somebody change a habit, a book wouldn't help. There are
True.
a lot of people who come to me that they say they have been studying NLP from books or videos online or some video courses or things like that. And they said they've been doing for 3, 4 years and they're not even able to change a single habit. They're not even able to break a particular belief. Their knowledge is increasing, but is knowledge transforming into action? Is
Not
knowledge transforming into wisdom? This can only be done using experience. So
absolutely
an NLP training must be experienced
true.
in order to learn NLP, in order to embody it within yourself.
Absolutely. I think it's indeed an experiential learning process, and I think a lot of
Yes.
us kind of need to understand that. So moving on to the next question, Ashish, what is the difference between the NLP practitioner course and the NLP master practitioner course? Can you
Okay, wonderful.
tell that to our audience, please?
Yeah. So when we learn NLP, most people start with what we call the NLP practitioner course, which is the most recommended course for everybody. With me, it's a 5-day program that helps you streamline the challenges of your life. It helps you streamline your thinking process. It widens your horizons, and you learn NLP methods, techniques, language, everything that has been recommended for an NLP practitioner to do. Now, this learning is based on various models made by a lot of people like Richard Bandler, John Grinder, Robert Dilts, and a lot more. We as trainers also build our models and teach them what we have found successful with a lot of clients. This is where a practitioner goes out in the world and experiences NLP. Now, some people want to move ahead and take it to another level in their lives. Where the Master NLP Practitioner Program comes, the Master Practitioner Program is about three things. One, it is about building your own models. See, in practitioner, you use the models built by people who build NLP. In master practitioner, you learn how to utilize the modeling process, how to make a model by yourself. So you can walk into a master practitioner program and build a model for yourself that you will use with your clients and other people. That's one part. Secondly, in master practitioner program, we learn some advanced models of NLP, like Robert Dirt's Slide of Mouth, or a couple of other programs which are highly detailed. Most important part of the master's program is mastering the meta program. Now, at practitioner level, we learn meta model, Milton model, and a lot of other models. Master's program, we learn meta programs. So, including all this, and then a revision of the practitioner program, everything comes together. Plus, in our master practitioner program, you have to do case studies. So,
Okay.
at the end of it, you get a certificate, and then you have to submit some case studies, and then you get your final license. So that's how it works. So master practitioner is a far more in-depth learning for people who have experienced NLP as practitioner and practiced. So that's how.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with our audience, Ashish. Uh, Moving on to my last question, uh, who can become an NLP practitioner or a master coach?
Anyone, anyone. So let me put it this way: that anyone with an intention to improve his life and help a lot of other people. Anyone who wants to learn NLP can learn. In fact, when you learn NLP, you will realize that most of the things you're already doing, but you're not aware when and how to apply.
Absolutely.
So NLP, as I understand, must be taught in schools at children level.
Yep.
It must be taught in colleges. It must be taught in engineering institutes. NLP is like language you live. So when you're learning the languages like English, Hindi, and other languages,
Yes.
if you start learning how to program your mind with language, lives are going to become really, really easy.
Absolutely.
So anybody can become a NLP practitioner. Uh, Adding to this, there's another question that comes in: who can become a good NLP practitioner?
Yes.
So there's a difference between an NLP practitioner and a good NLP practitioner. A good
Absolutely.
NLP practitioner will have at least two qualities. One, regular practice, for which we keep offering practice and revisits. There are a lot of free revisits we do. We do a lot of practice sessions, at least 10 to 12 practice sessions every year we do. And second thing, for a good NLP practitioner is stay away from limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Whenever you encounter beliefs that dumb you down, be alert and stay away from them.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's important to move towards the life you want.
Yes.
Fix the direction, move there. And that's what makes a good NLP practitioner.
Wonderful. Wonderfully put there, Ashish. Thank you so much. So I think to sum up, I can, if, from a layman perspective, I think we can easily say that uh, NLP is like a manual. Just like when you buy an equipment or an electronic goods, you have a manual that comes with it. So NLP is that manual, that one could learn to use to really
Yeah.
use their mind and language effectively to achieve what they want.
Yes.
Am I right, Ashish?
Yes,
Simply
NLP,
put,
yes, this definition is quite popular. That NLP is like the user manual to life.
yeah, yeah,
It's like your user manual to life.
yes,
And it is an experiential manual. It
correct.
is a dynamic manual which keeps updating itself as you study.
As you study, absolutely.
So,
I've been a
so
student myself, so I've been seeing that in the last couple of years how NLP also has been evolving with their tools and techniques. So definitely a must-do a course, even if not professionally, but at least for your own self-development. Any other before I wind up this session, Ashish? Any concluding remarks from your end for our
sure.
audience?
Uh, well, all I can say is, guys, NLP is a great skill to have. It's a great toolkit for better living. It's a great toolkit for your professions. If you are a coach, if a trainer, it's a must for you. And if you want to know more, you can contact Pragati or contact me. Just look online for Ashish Sehgal or Pragati Wisdom Curators, and you'll find all the details there. Pragati will mention a few more details there. Get in touch, have a discussion. Let's talk, and then let's help you get the life you want. So thank you so much.
Wonderful. That was very well said there, Ashish. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll meet again soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.